Silence and shadows. The night shift in law enforcement. The world sleeps, shrouded in darkness. But for us, the guardians of the night, there is no rest. We are the thin blue line, standing watch while others slumber, facing the unknown that lurks in the shadows. The night shift. It's a different world, where the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary, where the mundane can morph into a nightmare in the blink of an eye. Out here, in the quiet counties, the silence is deceptive. It amplifies every creak, every rustle of leaves, every distant siren's wail. Each call is a roll of the dice, a plunge into the abyss of uncertainty. We never know what awaits us on the other end. A disturbance unveiled. Bloodstains on a quiet street. The call came in just after midnight. A disturbance, a possible domestic dispute. Routine. We'd responded to hundreds, maybe thousands just like it. Two officers, partners, veterans of countless night shifts approached the address. A quaint suburban home, lights off, an unsettling stillness hanging in the air. As we knocked, a chill ran down my spine. Something felt wrong, deeply wrong. The door creaked open, revealing a scene that sent a jolt of adrenaline through us. A man, his face a mask of fear and desperation, stood before us. Blood stained his shirt, his hands trembling. "She's hurt," he stammered, his voice barely a whisper. We pushed past him, our senses on high alert. The air was thick with the metallic scent of blood. In the living room, a woman lay sprawled on the floor, her eyes blank and lifeless. A single stab wound marred her chest, a crimson stain blooming across her white blouse. The boyfriend, now a suspect, collapsed to his knees, his mumbled cries echoing through the silent house. He spoke of a fight, of losing control, of a love turned deadly. We secured the scene, notified the detectives. Another life extinguished, another family shattered. As the sun began to rise, casting its pale light on the tragedy, we were left with the chilling reminder of the darkness that resides in the human heart. The investigation revealed a toxic relationship, fueled by jealousy and rage. The man, consumed by his own demons, had taken the life of the woman he claimed to love. It was a stark and brutal reminder of the fragility of life, the ever-present potential for violence that lurked beneath the surface of even the most seemingly peaceful communities. Whispers in the walls, the landlord, the tenant, and the cult. An aging landlord, his voice trembling with a mixture of anger and fear, reported strange occurrences at one of his rental properties. Chanting at night, strange symbols appearing on the walls, a pervasive sense of dread emanating from the apartment. We listened patiently, our skepticism battling with the genuine terror in his eyes. The tenant, he explained, was a quiet, unassuming young man, new to town, who kept to himself. But something about him, something about the events unfolding in his building, set the landlord on edge. We arrived at the apartment complex, a nondescript building nestled on a quiet street. The air hung heavy with the scent of incense, a cloying sweetness that seemed to cling to the walls. As we knocked on the tenant's door, we heard hushed voices abruptly silenced. A long, tense moment passed before the door slowly creaked open, revealing a young man with vacant eyes and a nervous smile. He denied any wrongdoing, inviting us in with a disarmingly calm demeanor. But our instincts screamed otherwise. The apartment was sparsely furnished, the walls adorned with disturbing symbols and diagrams. A search warrant later revealed the horrifying truth. The tenant, a recent recruit to a fringe religious group, had been using the apartment for clandestine meetings and rituals. The landlord's intuition had been right. This was no ordinary tenant. He was a pawn in a dangerous game, manipulated by a charismatic leader preying on the vulnerable. The young man, lost and seeking belonging, had stumbled into a web of deceit and manipulation. His apartment transformed into a den of fanaticism. Unhinged. A dance with madness on a dark highway. The piercing screech of tires cutting through the stillness of the night shattered the quiet. A reckless driver, careening down the highway, lights off, a missile of metal and fury. We gave chase, sirens wailing, lights flashing, our hearts pounding in our chests. The driver, a young woman, her face contorted in a mask of anguish and rage, ignored our commands, her speed increasing with each passing mile. This was no ordinary traffic stop. This was a dance with madness, a desperate plea for help disguised as reckless abandon. We finally managed to box her in, her car coming to a jarring halt. As we approached cautiously, her erratic behavior escalated. She screamed, she cried, she railed against unseen enemies. Her words a jumbled torrent of paranoia and delusion. We were not police officers to her. We were demons, monsters, threats to her very existence. Her eyes, wide with fear and confusion, held a depth of pain that transcended her erratic behavior. This was not a criminal. This was a soul in torment, a mind teetering on the precipice. We managed to de-escalate the situation, our voices calming, our words measured. We convinced her to step out of the car, to surrender to our care, to let us guide her out of the darkness that had enveloped her. She was transported to the hospital, her cries echoing in the night, a haunting reminder of the fragility of the human psyche. The incident served as a stark reminder that every call, every encounter, had the potential to be anything but routine. We were not just law enforcement officers, we were counselors, mediators, and sometimes even saviors. The weight of the badge. Reflections on the night shift. As the sun begins its ascent, casting its golden rays across the landscape, we return to the station, our bodies weary, our minds racing. We have witnessed humanity at its best and worst, confronted the darkness that resides in the hearts of men and women. The night shift. It changes you. It etches itself onto your soul, leaving an indelible mark. We carry the weight of the badge, the burden of responsibility, the knowledge that every shift could be our last. But we also carry the pride of knowing that we are the guardians of the night, the protectors of the innocent, the thin blue line that stands between order and chaos. We are the night shift, and this is our story.